All righty. I'm alive. It says I am. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stacey Storino. Welcome back to my channel. This is the #1 place for the more mature entrepreneur to come to learn how to do content marketing that isn't just busy work and it isn't just simply going where your ideal customer is, because that is important. It's not simply just building up a brand-based community. That's a nice start, but you can't deposit followers or subscribers in the bank. No. You are here to learn about content marketing that is meant for conversions. Content marketing that one piece of content at a time drives traffic to your business so that you can do more business. That's why you're here. I am going into my 9th year of being a content marketing coach. I have thousands of students across the globe. Hashtag live, hashtag replay, especially for those of you who are my students, but you guys are welcome to do it too, because I have students in all different sorts of time zones. And y'all know I will give you a thumbs up. I will give you a heart, even on hashtag replay, just to show you that I care, that you're there and you're investing this time into your business. So today we are going to talk about, let me introduce the topic, because this is day 27 of 31 days straight of live streams / replays. Every day in January 2022, I've committed to going live mostly at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow we'll be going at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then I'm going to jump at 10 a.m. into one of my paid student one-on group coaching situations. But if you're new around here and you want someone to coach you for free through these live streams at the very least, I may do another free run in February. This is a lot of fun, and I'm getting a lot of good feedback from it. But we have a lot of edited videos that are neatly organized into playlists on this channel too. Want to grow your TikTok? We have the TikTok growth playlist. One of my students is at over 820,000 on TikTok right now. You want to work Instagram Reels? We definitely have a couple different playlists now about Instagram Reels, let alone separate playlists on my YouTube channel that have to deal with Instagram proper marketing, like if you're doing feed posts or lives or anything like that. So besides the live streams that I'm doing that are a lot of theory, but we're also talking about most every day, like content marketing, and how to use it once we go through the theory to get out of our own heads as entrepreneurs and get out of our own way if we or any of our loved ones are in our way. Definitely any of the pre-edited videos, if you need help with Instagram and TikTok and content marketing in general, those are definitely for you. And these live streams can certainly help you too. So let me greet all of my students. We're going to get into today's lesson. And also, if you've missed any of the prior days, both live and on the replay, I've pinned as the first comment the playlist into which all these replays go. So there's 26 replays already. So just to let you know, each one of these trainings can kind of stand on their own, these live streams that I'm doing in January. But for best results, you want to go back and go through the playlist. I will reference some past days here today when I get into my main topic for today. But let me greet all the students who have shown up and anybody else that wants to say hey, and then we'll get down to it, okay? So what's going on? Miss Lenore Love is here. Everybody's favorite farmer and blacksmith is here. Mike Reinhard. What's going on, dude? Marilyn Roselle is here. Miss Marilyn. I'm Chicken Swell. I have to say that is one of my favorite profiles I've seen in a while is here. Bridget is here. Bridget Upcycle Lawson. Ann McDonald is here. Hi, Miss Ann. And let's see who else. We have Ginia Weaver. Thank you for thumbs up and sharing on this, Bridget. Bridget's been with me for a while. She knows that the more engagement anything gets, let alone live streams and replays, the more likely it is that algorithms will serve things up to people who at least subscribe to you. So if you guys can, any of my pre-existing students, I'm going to give you a lot of value. You can just throw up the thumbs up right now and get that out the way so more of your fellow students can see this both live and on the replay. Okay, who else do I want to greet before it's too late and I just start rolling along? Catherine Brill is here. Gina Weaver's here. Michelle McLaughlin is here. Hey, Miss Michelle. Good to see you. All right. And then Bridget says if the other profile of hers comes up, that's Darren. Hey, cool. Christine is here from C. Pennell Jones. Marilyn says, thank you so much. Thank you for these. I would love to see more in February. It has been so helpful. That's cool. That's cool. If I can pull it off, I will. I have to look because we've got certain stuff. Lisa Garrett. We've got certain stuff going on with Joe's too. So I have to make sure that I balance everything. And I also, for those of you that are in my Socialgram shortcut course, my Instagram deep dive course, February is slated for major updates to that so that I can relaunch it in February to anybody who's been wanting to get in. And I know a couple of you have. I don't want to call anybody out, but I know there's at least 2 people on this live stream right now that wanted in. And I'm like, oh, I need to really update that course. So as long as the health holds up, Funnel Dynasty, I have just a couple more PDFs and you guys are in a really good place. And then I have that one bonus with Gen X Creator that I'll just on a rolling basis give you. But you guys are up to like 12, 13 bonuses in Funnel Dynasty, which I also plan on relaunching either late February or March because I've had people ask to get in. Also, really quickly for those people live and on the replay for my Frostin' mini course students, I have had several requests to relaunch the Red Velvet batch of Frostin', which is marketing and sales plans that are meant to be run in the month of February. It's like the frosting on top of the cake of your pre-existing marketing plan that's evergreen. You're going to run it all the time. So I'll offer it again for sale. So you'll probably see an email out to the list later on today. Lenore says, update from resending email to unopened people. In under 24 hours, 0 unsubscribes and another 10% opens to make the total open rate for the one email about 34%. I love that, Miss Lenore. Thank you. Any of my students will tell you the more I took a screenshot, man, because I just want to cheer you on in the other groups later today. Michael Cole. Hey, Michael, what's going on? And Marissa Parsons. Let me not ignore you guys. And then I'm going to get into the teachings in just a second. But everybody cheer Lenore on, not only for her vulnerability and transparency, but also for her leadership. Because, again, all of these trainings can stand alone. But in previous days, like several days ago, Lenore was cheering on people who were like, I'm so scared to email my list. And basically, I'm paraphrasing Lenore. You can take me to task if you think I'm taking too much liberty. But Lenore had said that she was afraid too. And, you know, after the first week or two of emailing her list at least once or more a week, and the list wasn't used to that. And you let the trail go too cold between yourself and your email opt-ins, you're going to get a lot of unsubscribes because people are going to be like, who's this? You know, even Ruth Rao, who is huge in the handmade business community, Mouse Loves Pig. Oh, you know, Sister Ruth is just so sweet. She was interviewed by Renee Christine several years ago, and she said that one of her big aha moments is that she actually did have to email her list more, not less. And Renee had me on her channel several years ago where really that was the big focus, that I was talking about email marketing, right? So I'm a content marketing coach, but I do consider email marketing part of your content, right? You're writing up these emails. You don't always have to have graphics in them because plenty of people get to 6 figures and 7 figures and beyond, and they may never have any design elements in their emails. So those are like nice, again, frosting on top of the cake of actual email marketing. There are plenty of people, men and women, that are selling to predominantly men and women who, you know, their emails might not be pretty, but they're effective, right? I would much rather you send out emails with no graphics in them, maybe not even a GIF or a Jiffy up front. Like, I'll do them in the top of my emails because it's fun and easy. But like, if I wasn't finding something really fast that I wanted to use, I'd be like, whatever, there wouldn't be anything on the top of my email. I just need to communicate with my list. Because if I let the trail go cold for too long, I'm going to get a ton of unsubscribes as well, right? So it can happen. And so Lenore had said, I know that some people are scared about emailing their list. It's not what we're going to talk about today, but it's going to be another thing that it's not a bad dovetail into what I planned on teaching today. But Lenore took great leadership and said, listen, I started emailing my list. There were maybe a week or two or so where I got a lot of unsubscribes. However, my list has been largely healthy since. I've been growing it since. And oh, yeah, I get the conversions that I need for my business to succeed since. So you may not feel comfortable emailing your list for whatever the reason, but they got on there. They know you're a business. They expect to be sold to. In fact, 60% of all people who get on an email list expect to be sold to, even daily to near daily. So, the other 40%, you might need to build more know, like, and trust from them before you get them in a place where they're ready to buy from you, or when they're ready to buy from you, they will buy from you, right? So Lenore's been giving us updates because she's had to go and clean up part of her email list. I'm glad everybody's cheering her on. Look at Mike using a nice little graphic there. I love that. You go. Congratulations. So before I get into how to expand your business's circle of influence. Oh, Linda Nagoto, what's going on? Let me greet you now since I'm in a good place to do that. Okay. Email marketing is where you're going to get, once everything's up and running, you've worked out any kinks in your business, roughly 3/4 of your sales, if not more, will come from your email list. And roughly 1/4 will come from just your website's SEO being awesome and people pulling you up on a SERP or a search engine results page when they're looking for stuff on Google. And the remainder will come from social media marketing. So if you're like, well, why are you so big on content marketing on social media, YouTube, Pinterest, and all those things? Because number one, you have to go where the attention is, right? You can't start to get people into the marketing and sales funnel. And this will dovetail into today's training in a minute. You cannot get people to get into your marketing and sales funnel if you don't go where the attention is. And yes, you should have a website. If you don't, 60% of people, if they encounter you someplace else and they open up another tab and they see that you don't have a website, especially because you're working e-commerce, whatever your business model is, coach, course creator to products, handmade products, edible products. If you're, Mike, or, he does services too. Like he's a blacksmith. He runs a smithy. I have attorneys who train from me. They may never say anything in here, but they see my stuff. And I also have had like organizers, all sorts of people, folks in direct sales, all sorts of people train with me over the last 8 going into 9 years. And I'm going to tell you something. You're welcome, Miss Lenore. Thank you for sharing your updates. You need to go where the attention is. Having a website's important so you don't turn anyone off. You feel like a business and they're not scared that they're going to get screwed by somebody who's jacking around on the internet, maybe taking their money and running. The more people that get into e-commerce, yeah, that's great. Sure, it's more competition for you, but it legitimizes you being on social more and you being online more. But the thing is, you have bad apples in every bunch. So people are getting more and more screwed. So they need to be more and more careful. So they want to see that you at least have a very decent, basic, strong website that doesn't look too dated. Because if it does, it means you threw it up there and nobody cares anymore. But at least they'll feel like you're a real business, no matter what your business model, and they're more likely to buy from you. But you have to do content marketing to get people's attention. By and large, you're more likely to do it in search on Instagram. People search by keywords and hashtags on Instagram. Same thing on TikTok. Twitter, hashtags are really important to indexing your content. YouTube, it's the second largest search engine on earth. The largest is Google, right? Even Pinterest, that's the third largest search engine on earth. So you can't be everywhere all at once as a beginner. I don't want anyone to get overwhelmed. I am not that coach that says if you're a beginner, you need to be everywhere all at once. You do need a website, even if it's basic. You can always add to it on the weekly with blog posts or whatever down the road, but at least have a website up. At least have a lead capture system to get people onto your email list, because people check their email. You can look up these statistics. These are not the gospel according to Stacey Storino. People check their email up to 19 times a day, and that includes people in their young 20s. Okay. So if they get on the email list, they are very much more likely to see your email than anything else. Yet another reason why you have to email your list once a week. Okay. At a minimum. I don't even care if you're not running a sale that week. If you put up a YouTube video or like Christine Pennell Jones, her audience disproportionately likes podcasts. So she should be putting out a podcast once a week just to start. Maybe she'll put up like 4 or 5 podcasts the first time that she launches, just so that if people find her, they can see she's got a couple of podcasts. But then after that, she can go one a week, and so she's not selling anything in a given week, and or she's not driving anybody to like an affiliate link for something. She's not selling any merch, maybe, like, you know what I mean? Even if it's kind of like a bye week or a quiet week, she should still send an email out to her list and say, hey, I did a great podcast for y'all. Here's one quick sentence why you just can't miss it this week. And, if somebody's going to get mad or unsubscribe because they see that, they weren't buying from you at all, ever. So good riddance, because the smaller your email list is, if you're cleaning out the unsubscribes, the healthier your delivery rates are going to be. You're less likely to be treated as spam. Your stuff could be delivered faster depending upon the situation. It definitely helps. Plus, we discussed a couple days ago that, you can have like a free or freemium like level, like say with MailChimp, not sponsored. And you can get on MailChimp's, in like what, up to the first 1,000 subscribers to your email list, it's free or whatever. But then after that, every however many thousands, you start having to pay more and more for that list. And that includes your unsubscribes. Most email service providers are the same way. So I'm not bastardizing MailChimp. All I'm saying is you need to do housekeeping. Even if you're growing your email list low and slow, like once a week, you should go and prune all of your unsubscribes. Because in some cases, your unsubscribes might still be getting your emails, even though they said, take me off the list. So ideally, once a day, you're checking. And if there's nothing there, you're in and you're out. You don't want to piss anybody off who they're like, I'm off your list. Why am I still getting your stuff? Plus, you don't want to pay extra. If you can manage to get under a certain tier and save yourself whatever it is, $5, $10, whatever a month, unless you're rich, it matters, right? So I see Amy Profit is here. Hey, Miss Amy, what sort of content should I be uploading to LinkedIn? That's a good question. Well, I said hi to Ann McDonald for like the second time. I'm really excited she's here. Okay, I'm going to answer that question, and we're going to go into the teaching proper. LinkedIn is trying more and more to become more social, comparatively speaking, because they want to keep people on the platform. They don't want to seem old and stodgy. They don't want to, unless you're looking for a job, you're just not there, right? So, you can put on any kind of content at this point. You could do blog post type article style. You could go live. You could do short videos. You could really do anything. The good thing about LinkedIn is that, comparatively speaking, even though the platform is big, Amy, it's more mature. It has a lot of users. The good news is, on that platform, you can be very competitive with practically anything that you post if it's well optimized, of course, if it's well done, because you will have people, you have way more content consumers, excuse me, as opposed to content creators. So if it were me, I would go for short form video content, because hold on, we have the heat up in our house. We don't normally put it past like 68, 70 degrees, but it's like negative with the wind chill where we are right now. We don't want our pipes to freeze. So a little dry, a little parched, pardon me. So Amy, I would go with more short form video content, because that's like freshest. It's newest. Let me quickly see. It's freshest. It's newest. It gets, you know what? All right, hold on. LinkedIn short form video. Yeah. No. How do you make a short video on LinkedIn. Oh my God. And I know this YouTuber too. Oh, how cool. So LinkedIn, as of summer of 2021, was suspending its stories feature where it was trying to be like Instagram Stories Junior, and it's jumping to short form video because that's probably the smartest thing they can do to stay freshest. So I'm just going to share a fellow YouTuber's video. I know this lady, Cass Thompson. So it's Cass Thompson Career Advice. Cass Thompson's video, LinkedIn short form video. So there you go. And I know that algorithmically you'll get pushed out more because they really need to stay competitive and they need to stay fresh, or they're going to become, they could suffer MySpace disease down the road, or they can just become so disinteresting that people are on and off really quick. They always want to serve up more ads. They always want to, keep promoting any paid features, which I know LinkedIn has, basically for job searchers and stuff more so than anything else. But I hope that answers your question. Like, I know people, especially because the more mature entrepreneur tends to show up here, and it's a lot of older women too. People are like, ew, I don't want to go on camera. The lens adds 5 pounds. I know, but I'm on camera and it brings me a lot of business behind the scenes. So I'm going to keep going. And Barney is certainly editing things so that I can get more short form videos out as well. So, I definitely have to practice what I preach, but Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, which is my first 7-figure client that I grew them to 7 figures from barely profitable in 2.5 years. Content marketing and staying towards like more the cutting edge of content marketing has tended to give them a lot of organic growth boost. Having a lot of followers or subscribers, like I said, more towards the top of the hour is great for social proof. And you do need to go where the attention is. And that's getting people into the top of your marketing funnel where there's awareness. You have to increase brand awareness. And if you don't have much, if any, money for ads, then you really have to work the content marketing and what I'm going to teach you today. But you need to make sure that, oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. That's horrible because I'm older. Oh, you need to make sure that you are putting out content where, the platforms are really going to be pushing for. Like Instagram said, it's no longer a photo sharing app. It's a video sharing app where you could share photos too. If you optimize them properly for search and suggested, they can do well. But if you want like, golden age, wild, wild west kind of extra boost, you're not going to get it by doing photos, by doing GIFs, by doing graphics. You're going to get it by videos and short form videos at that. So yes, that does include things like video pins, and that on Pinterest. And yes, that does include short form video, like follow the Cass Thompson video, for more, because I don't think that's even terribly old. And she can kind of, show you LinkedIn more, like how to do that. Okay, so let's get into what I wanted to talk about today. I mean, I don't care. I'm happy to answer anybody's questions. Hey, Jacqueline, what's going on? Good morning. Good to see you. So live or on the replay, you can ask whatever questions you like as long as it has to do with the topic, of course, or just content marketing in general. So even on the replay, I circle back to these things for at least 24 hours to make sure no replay person is left behind. Okay. So, and I want you guys to be honest when I go through this training. I'm not saying you have to be vulnerable and transparent and go me, or I don't do this or whatever. But if you want feedback from me live or on the replay, today's the day to do it, because this is going to involve a lot of vulnerability for some people, especially if you're older and female, especially boys. And I know I have a couple on here. I'm not saying this would never apply to you. I am painting with a broad brush. But if you want to expand your business's circle of influence, sure, any of the edited videos that are on my channel will show you how to, with content marketing, and proper optimization for search and suggested meaning the algorithms on a given platform are going to do a lot of digital matchmaking, maybe for people who aren't specifically searching up a piece of content like yours, but their content consumption patterns show the algorithms that they would be disproportionately likely to appreciate your content. So suggested means they're suggesting out your content, like on the explore page on Instagram, or for you on TikTok, or on YouTube, it's on your homepage. It's in the sidebar, suggested additional videos. Even on Pinterest, you will see stuff in like your smart feed or your home feed, right? So search and suggested. You always want to think about both. But it's great to raise brand awareness through organic content marketing. And once you have proof of concept, meaning you are building up your social, even if it's slow and slow every week, for a couple weeks, give it like a month, a little less if things are going really great. You're building up your email list, even if it's a couple of email subscribers every week. It might be low and slow, but it's organic, it's healthy, it's not family and friends. They don't count. Like you can get them if they're your ideal customer, sure. But what I'm saying is you want proof of concept, meaning you are growing a brand-based community who's interested in your products, your services, your offerings, and they're interested in any of relationship marketing type content that you would put out. Entertainment-based, education-based, inspiration-based, showcasing your products too, but it's not buy, sell in your face. The other day, I talked about how Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, like if they put out a YouTube video, they email their list. The video might show you the behind the scenes about how a certain designer burger's made, for example. And it's not like, and dial 845-221-0488 to go, buy this from Joe's. We generally don't say anything like that in videos. There are some strays that we do, but mostly we don't. This is just education, inspirational type, entertainment type content, because people love to see behind the scenes of how it's made, whether it's edible products, regular products, handmade products. But they also like to see behind the scenes in terms of like Mike Reinhardt should be doing blacksmith videos every day. People love that kind of stuff. They want to see how things are made, the equipment, what he uses it for, end result products, even if they're one of a kind and he's not selling it because it's already sold, or any kind of repair work he does for his farm. Do you know how many people want to create homesteads nowadays? And those numbers are only going up. They are not going down. People want to be increasingly more self-sufficient. Why? I don't want to get into that here, but Mike could be doing all sorts of tip, trick, and technique videos for people who want a homestead, and for those that don't and they don't want a DIY, he's here for you if you're in and around the area, or he can ship stuff to you, right? So many different things you could do with relationship marketing content that isn't directly buy. However, I said yesterday, if we do a video for Joe's, it's not directly salesy, it's behind the scenes, and I email that out to thousands and thousands of people on Joe's list, do you know sales will spike for that product anyway? It depends. It could be 24 hours, 48 hours. It's not unusual for things to spike 72 hours for that specific product that was spotlighted in that video, where we didn't even say, and dial in here or place an order on our website. So, you can sell a lot with relationship type marketing, right? But that's not specifically what I'm going to talk about today. What I'm going to talk about today is on top of that. And you can run ads after every week for, say, 3-4 weeks. Your social's growing, your email list is growing, and you're getting sales from people who are not family and friends. Even if they're just a few, that's proof of concept enough. And it could take you a couple of days to a couple of weeks when you're persistently and consistently doing this kind of marketing to actually get sales. Then if it's fiscally responsible for you to do it, run ads. I'm not an ads guru, but I'm not against ads. And I think ads do have their place to help you scale and grow. But ads are not a way to cut to the front of the line where you're like, I just started, I don't have a website, screw that. I'm going to have social, and I may or may not have an email list, but say I'm a products-based business. I'm going to start driving ads to this t-shirt and people will just buy. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. The problem is, as the old saying goes, ads will merely make a failing product fail faster, or a failing business concept fail faster. That's why I'm saying no matter how much money you have or don't have for ads, I'd at least like for you to get proof of concept so that you know it's always a crapshoot running ads, but it's a calculated risk running paid ads, as opposed to just taking a garden variety risk where you could lose a lot of money because either you have a failing product, a failing concept, or they just don't know, like, and trust your brand enough. Sure, you can drive eyeballs to a product listing running ads, for example. Not all of my students are product based, but for those who are, just for a second, everybody else, just think about it. And you'll get a lot of views and maybe some engagements and comments on your ads. But if you're not getting any purchases, it's either because the product is kind of like meh, or the product seems okay, the pricing might be right, but if they open up another tab and you don't really have much, if any, presence anywhere, come on, put yourself in their shoes. Are they going to feel secure giving you their credit card information? Maybe not. So at no point in time do you not do organic content marketing. That's an always, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression, and you don't want to make it seem like you were doing really well and now digital dust is covering everything. You haven't posted for a while. You have a website, but maybe the theme got really, really old looking, or some links don't work anymore. You can go Google the stats on what that will do to your sales, but it won't be good, right? So as you make more money, yes, you're reinvesting back into your business so that you can run ads when that makes sense, and that you can get people to help you with customer service or getting your content out or helping you create content. I have a designer and I have a video editor. I can't do even everything that I'm doing for my own business, let alone Joe's. I just can't do it. And in fact, I'm not even posting everything for Joe's. And I have to kind of kick some butt over there because they're getting a little lazy, and that doesn't necessarily work. My intermediate to advanced students have teams. They just can't do it all on their own. But when you're a beginner, you're like, okay, maybe I don't have any money for ads. Maybe I know I have table setting to do, Stacey. What can I do to get my circle of influence bigger, my business's sphere of influence bigger, so that more people are becoming aware of my business? And it's not just more content marketing. As a beginner, you should be posting daily to the top 2 social media platforms that are most important to your niche. And worry more about getting an email list up and running, having an automated email, deliver a thank you email with a coupon code or a freebie or whatever in it. Like if you go to don'tbeafakeguru.com, that's the 2022 freebie that I have. And I'm constantly building my email list with that. Right. So that's my new opt-in. Go take a look at it. It's a goof, but it's good. It's a good guide that I'm giving you, not just a tiny little checklist or something. It's like the top 10 ways that people think that you're a fake guru or not a real business at the first glance, and how to fix that. Right. So like that grows my email list. But if you're not growing your sphere of influence to get people into your funnel, they're aware of you. And then some of those people will very quickly get onto your email list, and some may drop all the way down and buy from you if it's a good day, if they opened up other tabs and said, oh, wow, they impressed me, and I just so happen to need X right now, and I can afford to get X right now, they will. But most people, you still have to woo them once they get on the email list with some content marketing via email and everywhere else that they might find you. But beginners should only be on 2 platforms and worrying about actually getting real conversions before they add in Pinterest and YouTube and everything else, because that's too much for a solopreneur. It's too much for someone who has little to no team. That's too crazy, okay? But here's something anyone can do, even if all you do is give 30 minutes a day for it, and it is free for you to do. And I really would do it, especially if you're like, oh, well, I don't have much, if any, sales. This can get you sales without you being too aggressive. I'll talk to you about how to do it in a minute. This will definitely raise awareness for your business, like you're running ads, except you're pretty much 100% going to get feedback returns. It's not going to be an ad where maybe you get views and nobody or almost nobody engages. Nobody or almost nobody comments, or for the love of all that's good and holy, nobody buys at all, right? So there's a way that you can do what I'm about to teach you to do where you don't seem aggressive, you're not violating any community rules, terms of use, or if we're talking about a Facebook group, which I'll use in this example today, you're not violating the group admins or the group owners rules too, because usually there's rules in Facebook groups. What I'm going to teach you today, I'll use a Facebook group as an example, but depending upon your niche, your pitch, your product, and your sitch or situation, meaning your business model, it might not be Facebook at all, because Facebook could be old book for the people that you're marketing to. So maybe it's a Discord server that you have up and running. Maybe it's, in a Reddit. Maybe, and if you don't know what these things are, don't worry, because it may have nothing to do with your ideal customer, right? It may be in the comments section of, a YouTuber who is a thought leader in a space, but maybe not a direct competitor of yours, right? Maybe at best they're a thought leader, or they have a complementary business, but not a direct competing business. Like, for example, if I were selling, I don't know, essential oils, they're not selling essential oils if they're a complementary business, but maybe they sell the jewelry in which you could put the oil, and it's like a diffuser sort of situation. I don't want to sell jewelry in this example, but I want to sell oils. So maybe I can go into the comments section of a YouTuber who's putting out content at least weekly. They have a regular community going. They have their usual people in the comments, and they're interested in aromatherapy and jewelry that can help them with aromatherapy. But, this influencer's selling the jewelry. I could come in and talk shop with them and get them interested in my oils without even necessarily saying, hey, send me a message or go to my website or buy my stuff directly. But so there's many other platforms that you could do this on. Same thing with comments in comment threads for content that a thought leader or a complementary business owner has, like for a business account on Instagram. You could do this anywhere. I'm going to keep this example to Facebook groups because in many cases, your ideal customer might be on Facebook groups, but it's easy enough to duplicate what I'm going to say on other platforms. Hi, Denise Shipley. What's going on? And Lenore says, I always like the saying that I have more time than money when starting up. And you're right. So for anybody, that's so perfect, Lenore. I love that. Thank you. For anybody who's just starting, or you're like, I'm not making much money. I certainly am not making even 5 figures a year doing whatever. I have all sorts of students who are at beginner, intermediate to advanced levels. Intermediate to me is like multiple 5 figures, going up to knocking on heaven's door for 6 figures. My advanced students are pretty much all at 6 figures or over. And I have quite a few of those, but I'm going into 9 years of coaching. So of course I do, because they persistently and consistently built up their businesses, and some of them it was side hustles, and some of them that was their full-time gig. So no matter who you are watching this live or on the replay, I bet you the advice that I'm going to give you, especially when you have more time than money, you have little to no sales, this can really work without getting you in trouble, without you seeming like a sleazeball, etc. And by the way, for everything that I've said so far, especially for my pre-existing students, please give me a big thumbs up on this video. Forget what it does to me. It'll make my heart go pitter-patter. It's going to help the people who are already subscribed to me see the video either while I'm still live, they'll get pinged, or when this goes in replay mode, the video from the replay will show up in their feed more and suggested. So you're helping them out. Forget me. All right, so let's pretend that we're dealing with a Facebook group, maybe 2, 3 Facebook groups. In this example, I wouldn't go more than 2, 3 sources of traffic, organic traffic, where my ideal customer is going to go hang out. Now, this technique takes you understanding who your ideal customer is and what their main pain point is. And, if you understand the person and the problem that they're having, and you've done your industry research, you've done your ideal customer research, not just demographics. That's like the skeleton for your ideal customer. That's important that you know that. but that's really a head start. We don't just want to look at demographics when we're making decisions about what Facebook groups, in this example, could be Discord servers, could be other things, whatever is applicable for your business model and your ideal customer. But demographics alone is just a head start. That's not necessarily going to tell you what Facebook groups, in this example, to go to. You have to understand psychographics. So if you don't even know what that is, today your assignment is to go look up psychographics. I'm going to type the word down here for people who are like, could you spell that, please? Right? So it's Psychographics, psychographics. Because once you understand the psychographics having to do with your ideal customer, that puts flesh on the bones. And now you have more of a full-fledged individual. That's your ideal customer avatar. And it's important that all the content that you create, you are speaking to that specific person. And when you understand that specific person, the main pain point that they have that your business's offerings are meant to address, then you can kind of get in their heads. And then you go, okay, if they were to hang out on Facebook, what are like the top 2 to 3 Facebook groups that they would go to where they're going to hang out at least for a little part of their day to like kind of talk shop about their main pain point for which my business offers products, services, solutions, offerings, whatever fits. So I don't really want you going more than 3 a day because then you can get overwhelmed. And I want you to have some sort of table or Excel spreadsheet, or if you're not in a Microsoft environment, you're in a Google environment, like a Sheets kind of environment, and a spreadsheet of some sort will probably work best. And I want you to have a goal of 20. I'm going to tell you 20 who in a minute. But I don't want you to go more than 3 Facebook groups. 2 or 3, one might not be enough. And I want you to set a timer. So if you're like, I'm so busy, Stacey, I don't have a lot. All right. We talked about a power hour several days ago. Again, if you need to catch up with any of these sessions on the live stream / replay, I have pinned the playlist link into which all these replays get chucked. Okay. So catch up with us. It's 31 days total of free training in January 2022, just here on this YouTube channel. And make sure if you haven't subscribed that you do. Click the bell notification if you haven't, even if you're subscribed already. Click that bell notification. Make sure you select all out of the 3 options, because then it's even more likely to ping you when I go live or when the replay is out. Okay. So if you really understand the demographics and the psychographics behind your ideal customer, psychographics means what they tend to do, especially shooting through the lens of their main pain point in real life and online, both. Okay. So when you understand them enough, you're going to be able to, if they're on Facebook and they don't consider it old book, then you're going to be able to guess pretty quickly at least 2 to 3, no more than 3 Facebook groups that they're going to go out and hang out in and talk shop about. So for example, maybe it is a keto weight loss group for postmenopausal women. You want to be very specific with your ideal customer. As the old axiom goes, if we try to sell to everyone, we end up selling to nobody. And just picking like a sex and saying just women are my customers, or just American women, or just American, millennial women. If I hear any more, my ideal customer is millennial, college educated, moms that live in America. There's my ideal customer. No, there's a good head start narrowing down on your niche. That's all you got. Good for you. Keep going. So maybe your ideal customer is, you'll take anyone's money. You're going to get people who don't fit your ideal customer avatar. Who cares if their money spends just as good as everyone else's? And if you can help them get out of pain and into pleasure and get their ideal outcome, great. But when you're marketing and when you're doing this networking technique that I'm teaching you to increase your business's sphere of influence, You know the demographics, you know the psychographics, you are very narrowed in on this ideal customer. So maybe it is a Gen Xer who's married, they have kids, they're postmenopausal, they're looking to lose weight, and they're interested in keto. That's a whole lot more narrow, right? And maybe they're a white collar professional, so they need to look good in a suit. You know, they can't work from home for whatever the reason. They have to go out and about. So not only is it important to really know this person and what their life is, they work outside the home, they're mom's taxi afterwards, or maybe they're a much older millennial, doesn't matter, but you've narrowed down a lot and you understand this person's pain point and you understand their psyche. I bet you if you're a coach, course creator, both, and you sell keto boot camps in 30 days, lose 30 pounds. Okay, let's say that's what you do. And products-based business, you can do this too. So let's say you understand your ideal customers so well, you can pick 3 Facebook groups where they're into keto weight loss. And especially for postmenopausal women or keto weight loss for, moms or something like that, you can pick 2-3 Facebook groups and you're going to spend about 10 minutes a day in each one of those groups. So 30 minutes. You do not have to do this for longer than that. And I don't want you getting overwhelmed or staying too late at the fair here, okay? Be in and be out of each of these Facebook groups. You're going to join them. And I would say for a couple of days, be a fly on the wall. Get a good idea for the corporate culture in the group. Read the group rules. You don't want to violate them. You're not posting anything yet. You're not commenting on anything yet. Give it a couple days where you're just checking out these groups, reading the rules, seeing who posts, seeing what kind of content is being posted, seeing what pieces of content are more popular than others, and reading the comment threads and seeing what people like or what they don't like or questions that they have, in this case about postmenopausal mom keto weight loss, right? So they're going to be talking shop. And if you are, say, a coach, you're selling a keto boot camp, 30 days, lose 30 pounds, I would hope that you understand enough about keto and weight loss and how being postmenopausal in this example disproportionately affects adversely about losing weight through exercise, diet, or both, how much more challenging it can be. And then if you still have kids that, even if they're older tweens and teens, like you're juggling a lot and, it's hard. You're trying to not eat the convenience food. Like you should understand what's going on in your ideal customer's head enough. And so after you've been studying the group for a couple days, the group rules almost guaranteed will tell you do not sell anything in here. Now, if they do, then go crazy, just follow the group rules. Sometimes you get lucky, but most of the time we're just talking shop in here. This is about the pain point and any sort of tips, tricks, techniques, symptoms. We're sharing, we're cheering each other on, we're consoling those who are struggling. So this is networking as an industry leader without selling directly, okay? So in each of these groups, I wouldn't spend more than 10 minutes, but I'd come in every day. I'd see who's the big talkers, the big posters. And if someone's crying because they're struggling, I would definitely be sympathetic. This is networking. You introduce yourself. Don't mention your business. I'll tell you why you don't have to in a minute. But, introduce yourself to them, show sympathy for them. If they're asking questions and you can answer those questions or give feedback or explain why they might be having a hard time, they're going to love you for it. And other people who are flies on the wall will be reading their comments and your comments on their comments and are going to go, who is this person? They seem to really know their stuff. And what ends up happening is that if you impress somebody enough, even on day one of having a conversation with them, they're likely going to go navigate over on Facebook to your timeline to see what kind of, who is this? And I said a couple days ago, it is not a bad idea to post 1 out of every 10 posts on your personal social account what you do as an entrepreneur. You put up a YouTube video, hey, announce it. Or you're creating stuff behind the scenes and filling orders if you're a products based business, hey, announce it. If you're Christine and you have a new podcast up, post about the podcast and a good one-liner line about who needs to see this podcast, what they're going to get out of it, and how it's going to help them without giving away the whole store. Post. So 1 out of every 10 posts that you put out approximately should be showing people that you're an entrepreneur anyway. Plus your bio on your Facebook timeline really should tell them what you do for a living, right? A website link. I personally like that link to be to an email opt-in, capture the leads. Okay. And you can even have a banner at the top of your timeline that literally says who you are, what you do, who you help, and what outcome they can get. So when you're talking shop with people, you're not saying, hey, guess what? I'm a coach, buy my stuff, buy my course, buy my gear, buy my book, hey, I sell weight loss jewelry that's encouraging people for weight loss. I have artwork. I sell shaker cups. Like, don't do that. You're just talking shop with them, showing them that you care and that you're knowledgeable. And it doesn't take long. They and how many other people who may never say anything to you directly will go check you out on your timeline. And I've had students do that, and they build their email list. They get people contacting them in the messages saying, I didn't realize that you were a coach. Oh, I bet you weren't saying anything because of group rules. I took a look at your website. I have questions. You can sell that way. And my product space people, please don't think that you can't do this either. Okay, please. For Mike Reinhard, let's use him. He has a services-based business. He is a blacksmith. He's a blacksmith. He's got his smithy. He also has his farm, so I'm going to guess he has a farm stand, and he sells fresh produce, right? And he might be able to ship out crates, or people can order and come pick up or whatever. So somebody like Mike might go into, because he's a brick and mortar, he's got to be careful. Unless he's shipping stuff, then maybe he can go out broader. But somebody like Mike can go be a thought leader within a county that his business is located in, maybe even in the region for where his business is located in. And then for people who, and these groups may exist for people who are looking for fresh organic produce and they're willing to pay to have it shipped to them if it's in farms and if it was all grown a certain way. He could get into a group like that and just be addressing questions or concerns. Or if somebody's complaining about supply chain issues, he could be like, hey, I could ship out a crate of fresh oranges. I don't know. I'm making it up. And, I can ship it out to you. Ta-da! Or we grow fresh kale and, I'm happy to ship it to you, but he's not going to say it openly. He's going to be talking shop about, yeah, you do want to get that fresh produce. And I would happen to know, growing it isn't easy. You're not directly saying buy from me, but people will you're telegraphing that that you've got the goods, that you understand how they might need whatever. And then they end up going, wait, you what? Well, okay, I don't want to get in trouble, but you can talk to me in the comments. But a lot of times people are just going to reach out to you via Messenger anyway. Happens to me all the time. Happens to Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill all the time. Happens to my organizer friend, people who sell jewelry. They show a behind the scenes video on Facebook, even on their own personal timeline. They're making something and shipping out an order. Boom, they get people in Messenger saying, can I buy from you? Does this make sense? So Amy says, so I'm trying to get some of my products into a couple of local gift shops that are really in the products niche. Oh, typing out loud. Can I go and sit in there to find out more about the psychographics as well? Or would that be creepy? Let me see. Okay. I don't know. Hey, Miss Tiffany. I don't know that would be creepy. See, here's my thing. If you don't understand your ideal customer, you could be making things that they don't want, or you're creating products or you're bringing up services or creating courses that are close but no cigar. That's a waste of your time on the offerings end of things. That's why it's also important to get into these groups, even as a fly on the wall. You certainly don't have to comment on everyone's comments in 10 minutes. You don't want to seem like you're too hyperkinetic. Go with what feels natural. But I would network in these groups and talk shop about their pain points. Give tips, tricks, and techniques without saying that you buy things, that you sell things. And again, they're going to look you up. Now, if you can do this brick and mortar in real life, you can certainly do that and it's not creepy. Why is it creepy to understand your ideal customer more? Fly on the wall in real life or digitally, who cares? You're not trying to be creepy, so automatically it's not creepy. I just think that unless that brick and mortar, those brick and mortar locations, Amy, have a lot of foot traffic, like at least over a weekend, they have a lot of foot traffic, you'd be spending hours when in 30 minutes you could be in and out of 3 Facebook groups for somebody that is, that have to do with that main pain point, or if they're collectors or whatever, that main passion point. You'd be able to get a whole lot more information about people from the comments, from what they post, from what the group owner or admin is posting, what comments light up like, what pieces of content light up like a Christmas tree, questions people ask, comments that they make, what they like, what they don't like, what they wish they could see in the industry more. Like, I'm not saying don't go to those brick and mortars unless they don't really have much traffic, because it's a big fat waste of your time. Doing this, you can get down to the bottom line in 30 minutes or less every single day. And so when I talked about that spreadsheet before, what I was saying was, what I meant to say, and I'll close the loop on this now, is I want you to have like a column for each of the no more than 3 Facebook groups in this example. Okay. You could do YouTube channels or Instagram influencers or whatever fits your situation, Reddits, whatever. But in this example, I would have a column for every Facebook group, or maybe an entire tab that has to do with a particular Facebook group. And every day, my goal is to meet 20 people between all 3 groups and talk shop with them. And I would have, I'm not thinking in terms of sheets today. I would have columns or rows where I'm filling in people's names or their profiles, and I'm starting conversations with them. And I'm kind of Cinderella. I gotta go. I'll check in with you tomorrow, or I'll check back in with this Facebook group anyway tomorrow. And some days are going to be hotter than others. But the goal is to get to the end of the 30 minutes and have done 20 comments, start 10 conversations with a couple of comments thrown in, or even 5 conversations spread across the 3 groups, but you're really talking back and forth with people and you're just talking shop, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And again, most people are going to buy from those that they know, like, and trust, including business owners and small businesses that they know, like, and trust. So you can't be directly salesy in these groups, because usually they have rules prohibiting them. So follow the rules. Now, some groups occasionally will say, hey, it's Small Business Tuesday, so if you've got a business, you can post about your business only in this thread. Well, of course, avail yourself of that. But that's not even what I'm talking about. And I don't even care if the group doesn't do that, because some do and lots don't. Who cares? Okay, so Amy says, I do understand. Yeah, you could be getting a whole lot more information just tracking and tracing those up to 3 Facebook groups every day. So say you're selling jewelry, you could do this too. So for coaches and course creators, I kind of gave you a good example. But product-based people will go, I don't know, Stacey, I don't think I could do that. All right. Let me pull out a quick example while I'm live. Let me look at the time. If anybody has any questions live or on the replay, you are more than welcome to put them here. And even on the replay, I will circle back and I will try to make sure that I address any questions that you have. Okay, so let me make something up. Okay. Fantasy art jewelry. Just gonna make it up. I'm going to go into Facebook. I'm just doing this on the fly. We're going to presume before I do this, folks, if I were a jewelry business and my ideal customer was into fantasy, they might be women, they might be millennials, they definitely are collectors, right? And they're upper middle class and above. They've got to be. I don't want to sell to people who don't have money. Okay. I want to sell to people that theoretically they are able to buy from me every month, whether it's for themselves or they're buying gifts for other people. We're not just talking about the last business quarter of the year where they're buying for the end of the year holidays like Christmas and Hanukkah and whatnot. People have birthdays and life events every month that they have to shop for. They also jewelry collectors. They'll buy something every month. Quite a few of my six-figure success students honestly sell jewelry. So if you're like, well, how much jewelry can anybody buy? Oh, no. We don't prejudge that. Because I could tell you that they have their regular buyers who buy every month or almost every month. And as you're growing your presence with your content marketing and your networking, like I taught you earlier in this hour, you're raising the awareness level. You are expanding your business's circle of influence every single day. You're tracking the conversation so that when you jump back, you can pick those conversations back up again. If you run out of time or they don't comment back right away, lots of people, they're busy too. But if you check back and you're tracking and tracing your 20 contacts a day, you can keep track of a lot of different conversations and be networking digitally in your pajamas like you used to might have do networking or like Rotary Club, events for those of us that are old enough to remember what those were or actually did them. This is like today, the networking rooms and ballrooms from a decade ago. This is how you can do this in 30 minutes or less a day. And when you have more time than you have money and you're sitting around pacing and perseverating because you can't sell, if you're not getting out and shaking hands and kissing babies digitally, and you're not showing up to be a thought leader in your space, that's like a free and easy sweat equity thing to do. And if you're going to tell me that you're so introverted that you can't have a conversation with somebody about something they like, even fantasy jewelry, I'm going to get back to that example in a minute, then you have an approach avoidance thing. If you really love what you're doing and you really love who you do it for, you can talk shop all day long. So sticking with my Facebook example, if I want to sell fantasy art jewelry, let's say, so this is from a products-based, deal, but if you're just showing up now, we did coach and course creator example a minute ago. So say that's what I do. And I really understand my ideal customer. She's upper middle class and above. She has the ability to buy from me every single month just because she's a collector, let alone gifts for whomever, right? Who might like these things too. So I just did a search on Facebook for fantasy art jewelry. They will give you search results on the left-hand side that show you all the filters. So I don't want to see everything. I want to drop down to groups, which in this example is towards the bottom. You can filter these things for your groups. You may have them. You should. Public groups, you can filter them by city. So for somebody like Mike Reinhard or anybody who has a brick and mortar location for their business, that's some of my students, most of them don't. But you can filter by geolocation now, right? And it may give you a couple of preset options based upon how you set up your account on Facebook. So again, you're either working in the community that your brick and mortar is, or you can't be that far from it. So those filters can even help my brick and mortar people. When I filter everything by groups, I can see fantasy and fairy art, and that has 533 members. I can see art of jewelry making beginners. I don't want that group. I'm selling to people who are buying, not trying to DIY. So I'll skip that group. Fantasy art unchained. Well, I want fantasy jewelry. So maybe I'm going to take the word art out. Let me see if I go a little broad, if that's not more helpful. So I go into groups. La 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 la. Okay, so maybe fantasy steampunk jewelry makes sense. This is a small group of 48 members, but if they're posting in there once a day or more, it's an active group. So I might be attracted to being in there. I would skip something that says jewelry, tool, tips, tricks, and techniques, because again, that's the DIY crowd. I'm selling to people who are upper middle class and above. They are gainfully employed doing anything else, and they want to buy for themselves and or for gifts. How about, let's see. So I can see there are jewelry aficionado groups. Okay, when I'm giving you these examples, I'm not saying this networking example does not include going into groups like Just Pretty Jewelry Buy and Sell. I'm sure you're not doing networking as much as you're just posting, here's my stuff and buy it. And for whatever the reason, the group admin thought it was fun to have a group like that. But I would skip anything that says jewelry making. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do fantasy and sci-fi lovers, right? So if I'm selling jewelry to somebody like that, if I go down to groups in my Facebook search, I might just be jumping into sci-fi, fantasy, and book lovers. That's got 10,000 members in there. And I can see from the group results, it's got 10 plus posts a day. That seems active enough for me to join that group. It's a public group, so I can. And I can be a fly on the wall for a couple of days. And then I can see like who's really into it and who's talking about their love for it, who might be posting pictures of themselves, whether they're doing cosplay or not. Everything's sci-fi and fantasy, 31,000 members, right? So like I could be doing that. Or I could be doing, I could go on and on with examples. Does this stuff make sense to you guys? So what about homeschool? If I'm selling like kits for people who are homeschoolers, homeschool moms, I could be searching on that on Facebook. My kits I can probably ship all over the world, so I'm not worried about geolocation-based groups. But if I tap on groups, my goodness, they might be doing things geolocation-based, whether you asked for them or not, but you could just go through there and be like, free homeschooling resources. Well, I don't want to go in there because I want people to buy my stuff. All things homeschool, deschool, unschool, homeschooling. It's a private group. So never join these groups as business pages. You might not even be able to be let in. Okay. With Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, we learned the hard way. We can't have profiles as pages because they come in and immediately they start selling. It's like they don't even bother to read our rules. They just come in and do whatever they want. Working homeschool moms, that has 2,700 members. I might be really interested in getting into that group because they're working, so they have income and they don't want to do everything DIY and from scratch. So if I have kits for them to, for them to use for like arts and crafts or for any like creative learning segments about any sort of like, plans or lesson plans or anything like that, like no matter what you're selling, my whole point is there's a group where if you take enough time to really read through the groups, the group descriptions, the group rules, you make sure that they're still active, you can get in there and talk shop with people all day long. Join as a personal profile, not as a business page, because then you look predatory. You don't want to do that. And you might not even be let into these groups because there's no way anybody's going to think you're not going to try to sell. So join personally. But again, have your timeline, maybe even your banner, and 1 out of every 10 posts show what you do and that you love what you're doing, you love who you do them for, and you love that they're getting great results. Anybody who's talking shop with you that goes, who is this person, will very likely click on the link in your bio to get to your website or to your email opt-in, right? Because they're going to want more. And if you're talking every day and you're a group leader over time in 1, 2, 3 groups, I have had some students. I'm not saying this happens in huge tsunami waves, but I've had more than 2 or 3 say to me through the years, I became a group leader. I would post, I would answer questions. I wasn't officially an admin. And the group owner reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to do a live stream and demo something? Do you want to do a Q&A? Like, I appreciate that you're not actively selling in my group or violating my group rules, but can we create content together? You're a real asset in here. I mean, I am telling you this works. And if you don't have money for ads or you're not ready for it yet, this is one great way to raise awareness, to network, to study your ideal customer out in the wild and make decisions about what kind of content you should be posting on your own social media platforms. Maybe any tweaks that you need to make to your offerings because you see people talking in these groups about what they like or what they don't like, what they need or what they don't need. So people are saying, yes, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I am glad if I gave you guys any food for thought. You've got some stuff to do, including understanding what psychographics are and understanding your ideal customer's psychographics more. Tomorrow is day 28 of 31 days of free training. And tomorrow, we are going to talk about how to optimize your life as an entrepreneur so that you're more likely to be successful within your own sphere of influence. And of course, this ever-increasing sphere of influence that you're going to get if you follow through on what I'm talking to you about today. Please make sure, even on the replay, that you give this video a thumbs up. It will get the replay pushed out to more of my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure that you do. Click that big red subscribe button, push that bell notification, make sure you select all. I may or may not do a daily or near daily series in February as well. For those people who want the red velvet batch of frosting, which is the marketing and sales plans for February, today, tomorrow, the latest, I will have the card open for that, and it'll be open for just a couple of days because enough people asked for it. Okay, so I will put that back out there. Why not? Your wish is my command. So let's see. And you can go to don'tbeafakeguru.com to see my fun little opt-in and think to yourself, what kind of opt-in can I give if I'm a coach, a course creator? I sell digital downloads. I sell books. For products-based businesses, it's easy. Have a 20% off coupon off their first trip. Don't do lower than 20%. Go Google why that wouldn't work for you. There are plenty of studies, surveys, and polls that say that people will actually get offended by saving a big 5 to 10%. That's not going to help. Raise your prices if you need to. With all of the supply chain issues and inflation going on, it's a good time to raise your prices. Amy says that the 31-day video is going to stay in the Planathon website for the rest of the year. Oh, are you talking about that was a past set? Those will stay there. If you're in Planathon, whatever you got. Those aren't going to go away. These are new ones that I'm doing this year. So those will stay on my YouTube channel, right, for the foreseeable future. So you've got plenty of time to catch up if you miss the other 26 days. So, but again, hashtag replay for those people who are catching this on the replay. I will be very grateful that you're watching, and I'll give you a thumbs up and a heart. If you have any questions, even on the replay, put it there, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have, especially about today's content. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.